This video is about male loneliness, and if you clicked, you already know what that feels like. Not the obvious kind, not sitting alone in a room with nobody to call, the other kind, the kind where you're surrounded by people, friends, colleagues, maybe a partner, and still feel completely unseen. Like you're present in every room, but genuinely known in none of them. That feeling is more common among men right now than at any point recorded in history. And almost nobody is talking about it honestly. Until now. Here's what this video is going to do. It's going to explain why this is happening. Not with blame, not with politics, just with honesty. It's going to show you what male loneliness actually costs. Because most men are carrying that cost without realizing how heavy it is. And it's going to give you something real to do about it. Not toxic positivity, not just put yourself out there. Actual grounded steps that work. But first, think about your friendships for a second. When was the last time a friend asked how you were actually doing? And when was the last time you told someone the truth when they did? Not, I'm fine, just busy. The actual truth. The stuff underneath. For most men, the honest answer to both of those questions is a long time ago. Maybe never. And that gap between the connection you have and the connection you actually need sits quietly in the background of everything. The low mood you can't explain. The restlessness, the sense that something is missing but you can't quite name it. That's what this is about. Male loneliness isn't new, but it's getting worse, fast. Research consistently shows that men have significantly fewer close friendships than women, and that those friendships tend to be shallower, built around shared activities rather than genuine emotional exchange. Two men can watch football together every weekend for a decade, and still not know almost nothing real about each other. That's not an accident, it's the result of a lifetime of subtle conditioning. From the time most men are boys, the message is consistent. Don't need too much, don't show weakness, handle it yourself. Vulnerability gets punished early, so men learn to perform strength, to keep the difficult stuff internal, to answer how are you with, yeah, good mate, regardless of what's actually going on. And here's what that creates over time. A man who is emotionally fluent with nobody. Not even himself. So when life gets hard, a relationship ends, a job falls apart, a loss hits, there's no real support structure to turn to. Not because people don't care, but because the depth of connection required to ask for real help was never built. Here's where it gets serious. Loneliness isn't just an emotional experience. It has physical consequences that research has compared to smoking 15 cigarettes a day in terms of health impact. It raises cortisol, disrupts sleep, weakens immune function, and significantly increases the risk of depression and early death. And men, who are already less likely to seek help, less likely to talk about what they're experiencing, and more likely to externalize pain through destructive behavior, are disproportionately affected. The male suicide rate tells a story that most people don't want to sit with. In the UK, men account for around 3/4 of all suicides. In the US, the ratio is similar. That's not a statistic to scroll past. That's the end point of a loneliness that was never addressed. Most men who reached that point didn't lack people around them. They lacked real connection. They lacked the ability or the permission to say, I'm not okay. That's the cost, and it's not abstract. It's the quiet damage done by years of emotional isolation, dressed up as independence. So here's the question we're sitting with. Where are you in this? Not where society says you should be, where you actually are. Because there's a version of this that ends with you at 50, having ticked every external box, career, relationships, responsibilities, and still feeling that same hollow distance from everyone around you, still performing fine, still answering good when people ask, still carrying everything alone. That's not strength. That's a very convincing performance of strength, and performances are exhausting. The men who break this pattern don't do it by waiting until they have it all figured out. They do it by making one small, uncomfortable decision to stop pretending. Here's what that actually looks like. 3 things. None of them require a therapist, a men's group, or a dramatic conversation. Just an honest shift in how you show up. First, stop waiting for depth to happen. Start creating it. Male friendships tend to stay surface level because nobody goes first. Both people are waiting for the other to make it real. So make it real. Not with a dramatic confession, just by answering honestly when someone asks how you are, by asking a better question than how's work, by being the person who goes slightly deeper than expected. Most men, when someone does this with them, respond with profound relief, because they've been waiting for permission to be honest too. Second, invest in consistency over intensity. Deep connection isn't built in big moments, it's built in repeated small ones. The same person regularly, over time. Most male friendships fade because life gets busy and nobody maintains them. Maintenance isn't weakness, it's just what relationships require. One reoccurring commitment, a regular call, a monthly dinner, a standing activity, does more for connection than 100 one-off conversations. Third, learn to tolerate your own discomfort. Here's the honest one. The reason most men don't open up isn't just social conditioning. It's that vulnerability feels genuinely uncomfortable, and they've never been taught to sit with that discomfort rather than escape it. Every time you choose honesty over performance, even in a small way, that tolerance builds. The discomfort doesn't disappear, but it stops having the final say. Here's the thing most conversations about male loneliness miss entirely. The men who feel most alone aren't failing at connection. They are succeeding at a version of masculinity that was never designed to make them happy. They've been so focused on being the person who doesn't need anything that they've never asked themselves what they actually need. And what most men need, underneath the performance, underneath the independence, underneath the I'm fine, is exactly what every human needs: to be known, to matter to someone, to exist in at least one relationship where they don't have to manage how they come across. That's not weakness, that's the most human thing there is. And it's available, not through some dramatic reinvention of who you are, just through the slow, quiet decision to stop hiding the parts of yourself that most need to be seen. You clicked on this video because there's something in the title that was true for you. That quiet isolation, that gap between the life you're living and the connection you actually want. It doesn't have to stay that way. The shift doesn't start with finding the right people. It starts with deciding to be the one. Someone who shows up honestly, who goes first, who makes it safe for the people around them to do the same. That's how it changes. And that can start today. If this resonated with you, share it with a man in your life who needs to hear it. Subscribe to the channel for more honest conversations, mindset and psychology videos.